Hi, I'm Sartharion, formerly Elandria, and this is my Sartharion plus 3 Drakes Twilight Vanquisher achievement walkthrough. For this boss, you'll need a Disc Priest for pain suppression, a Hunter with a Tenacity pet, and a Shaman for bloodlust. As far as DPS goes, you'll want to stack as many ranged as you can, without pissing too many people off. The more spread out you can get for this fight, the better. As far as tanks go, you won't use a Prot Warrior, nor will you use a Prot Pally. You'll use either a Feral Druid or a DK tank. The reason for this being is that Feral Druids have an ungodly amount of HP, and Death Knights in general are OP. Your main tank will take an ungodly amount of damage during this fight, and they either need to have a gigantic health pool, or they need to have enough mitigation to be able to get through it. And Prot Warriors and Paladins simply don't have the HP pool, and they also don't have enough abilities to mitigate all of the damage that you'll take. For this fight, we take at least 4 tanks. Our Prot Warrior is the main Drake tank. Our Prot Pally takes all the adds. One of our Feral Druids off-tanks the Drakes. And finally, our wonderful Death Knight tank tanks Sartharion. Remember, you don't have to use a Death Knight tank. You can also use a Feral Druid. The most important factor is the gear that they have. I'll now go over a couple of ways that you can keep your tank alive once Shadron lands. Our first damage mitigation ability is Roar of Sacrifice. A Hunter's Tenacity pet will absorb 30% of the damage that was meant for the main tank. This lasts 12 seconds, and it's a rather nice ability with just a 30-second cooldown. The next ability is from a Disc Priest. It's Pain Suppression. It reduces damage taken by 40% and lasts for 8 seconds. It's a 3-minute cooldown, but it's rather nice for those breaths. Now we'll get on to the Death Knight's abilities. The first one that you should use is Anti-Magic Shell. It absorbs 75% of the damage that was meant for the main tank and lasts for 5 seconds. This has a 45-second cooldown. The next 2 abilities should be used together. Bone Shield reduces damage by 20%, and Icebound Fortitude reduces damage by another 20%. So that's 40% damage reduction, and both of them have a 1-minute cooldown. The next ability to use is very similar to the one that Malagos does in Phase 2. The Anti-Magic Zone reduces damage taken by 75%. It lasts 10 seconds and has a 2-minute cooldown. The final ability the Death Knight has, and by far the coolest one, is Army of the Dead. It summons an entire legion of ghouls, and pretty much it negates 40% of the damage that the Death Knight would take. Unfortunately, this has a 20-minute cooldown, so you won't be using it more than once per fight. And just to reiterate for the Flame Waves, when they come from the west, there are 2 safe spots, one at the top of the island and one at the bottom. When the Flame Waves come from the east, there will be 1 safe spot in the middle of the island. So don't be a total retard, and make certain to move out of them. Before pulling Sartharion, make certain that everyone is on the southern end of the island. Your main tank should be on the southwest corner. A Hunter will misdirect to the main tank, and everyone will switch sides with Sartharion. Your main Drake tank should go to the upper middle part of the island, while your off-Drake tank should stand towards the west. Just to reiterate, Sartharion does a Tail Whip, which will stun you for 2 seconds. He also has a Frontal Breath ability, which will do 12k fire damage before Shadron lands. After he lands, it does about 20k. For the remainder of this video, I'll show you the phases of the fight, and also what you need to look out for and what's happening at that time. The first thing to do is have all melee DPS go back approximately 15 seconds into the fight, so that way once Tenebron lands after 30 seconds, they can begin DPSing on him. Tenebron hatches eggs, and he also has Shadow Fissures. Burn him down, preferably before Shadron lands, so that way you can get Shadron down ASAP. This part of the fight is easy. There's nothing really that you need to look out for. You go from the easiest part of the fight to by far the hardest. Shadron lands approximately 75 seconds into the fight, and he will also spawn Shadow Fissures, but he increases fire damage taken by 100%. This is the one that you need to burn down ASAP. He needs to go down as soon as you can get him down, because the main tank is going to be taking a massive amount of damage, but the rest of the raid is also going to be taking a lot of damage from the meteors. This is when most of your wipes will occur, so just keep an eye out for the flame waves and try to keep the main tank up as best as you can. Now, 10 seconds before Vesperon lands, you need to kill all the adds. This is because Vesperon will do Twilight Torment, which is similar to Reliquary of Souls, which when you damage something, you'll do damage to yourself. Also, when Vesperon lands 120 seconds into the fight, max health will be decreased. Hopefully by this time you'll have Shadron down, so that way you don't have to worry about all the flame breaths. Also, once Shadron dies, have people go down into the portal and kill his disciple. Once you do that, flames aren't a problem anymore. The tank isn't going to be taking so much damage, so it's not nearly as hard of a fight now. At this point, Tenebron and Shadron are now down, and we only have Vesperon up. Now, it's a slow burn. Make certain people go into the portal, and don't be stupid like me, and go in before there's a healer in there, because you do take damage in there if you'll notice my health ticking down. But anyways, after Shadron's disciple is down, your main tank is no longer going to take massive damage from the fire breaths, so you don't have to worry about that. All that you need to do is to slow burn Vesperon. Calm down, relax, kill the adds as you see them, and just slowly burn him down, because the easiest part is this last part once he's down. Once you get Vesperon down, make certain you head into his portal and take out his disciple so that we don't have Twilight Torment on anymore. Also, you have the choice of, during the fight with Vesperon, to take out his disciple during that time. Either or, your choice. But now we're on to the easiest part of the fight. And look, Sartharion's dead. So there you have it, Sartharion plus 3 drakes. If you have any questions or comments, make certain to contact me on YouTube. I try to answer every mail that I get, but unfortunately I get a lot. So if you don't hear from me, write back.